President Trump promising at his Inauguration Eve rally that he isn't going to waste any time reversing executive orders signed by President Biden.
Every radical and foolish executive order of the Biden administration will be repealed within hours of when I take the oath of office. Somebody said yesterday, sir, don't sign so many in one day. Let's do it over a period of weeks. I said, like hell, we're going to do it over weeks. We're going to sign them at the beginning.
Signing them all today. Terry Schilling is the president of the American Principles Project, and he joins me now. Terry, good morning to you. Great to see you. So what do you think the headline is going to be tomorrow about everything that Donald Trump does today?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Carly. The headlines tomorrow, depending on which newspaper you're reading, if I was writing the headlines, it would be that America is entering a new golden age, right? And that is what President Trump has been saying. We're going to unleash American energy. We're going to secure our southern border and get back to basics. But, Carly, we're also going to protect families. He's expected to sign over 200 executive orders tomorrow, and a lot of those are going to be about protecting our kids, getting men out of girls' sports, and it's a new golden age, especially for the American family.
Yeah, there's just so much coming at us all at once when it comes to all of these executive orders that we are rolling on our screen right now, from, ending catch and release to reinstituting remain in Mexico, declaring a national emergency at our border, directing the U.S. military to work with the Department of Homeland Security to fully secure our southern border, executive orders on energy, on signing an executive order to strengthen presidential control over senior government officials and implementing new merit-based hiring reviews. I mean, the president says that this is promises made, promises kept, and he has made a lot of promises, and he says that he's going to deliver today. During his rally yesterday, he talked about the American dream, and take a listen to what he said.
At noon, the curtain closes on 4 long years of American decline, and we begin a brand new day of American strength and prosperity, dignity and pride. Every day will be filled with opportunity and hope, and also filled with a thing called the American dream that you don't hear much about anymore.
And Terry, there was also this cute moment where Laura and Eric Trump had their kids on stage, and they said the Pledge of Allegiance, and that's really what this is all about, right? Keeping America as strong as possible and strengthening it for future generations. And I'm sure that's something that weighs on the president's mind every day.
No, Carly, that's exactly right. President Trump has taken a bullet, literally, for this country. He cares about the future. He's a grandfather and a father himself, and it's obvious why he's doing this. He wants to make a better America for his children, his grandchildren, and soon, I'm sure, with Kai, she's going into college and stuff, it's his great-grandchildren. This is what America's always about. It's about sacrificing for the next generation so that our kids and grandkids can have a better future and make it better for everyone. This is what love is. This is what America's all about.
Yeah, and thinking about Donald Trump's political trajectory, I mean, during his first 4 years in office, he even said it, he was a political newcomer. He didn't know a lot about Washington, D.C. He said he made some hiring mistakes. And then he had 4 years to think about it. And now he's entering office with experience. He has a team of people around him who he supports and who are loyal to him. That's a major difference. How will we see that difference unfold?
Well, we're already starting to see it right now, Carly, in the lack of leaks from the administration, right? I mean, if you remember that first term, there were all these disloyal people that had snuck into the Trump administration, and they were nonstop leaking lies and misinformation just to advance their own agenda, right? And even to thwart his own. So I think that he's learned. He's got a loyal team that's actually dead set. They've learned you can't make mistakes. You've got to be very careful about who you trust in this town, and that's true for everything. So I think we're going to see a lot more get done, a lot less drama, because he's gotten it down to the most loyal supporters that he has in his team, people that really love their country more than they love themselves. It's a very, very good thing. I'm excited for it.
Terry, thank you so much for joining us. So Trump is expected to sign over 200 executive actions today, focusing on border security, energy independence, and government efficiency. Some of the orders range from border security, abolishing DEI policies, and even securing clearances for intel officials.
It's been a long 4 years, nasty. It's been a nasty 4 years. My administration will take immediate and decisive action to confront every single problem America faces and put our nation back on the path to success and greatness. Within hours of taking office, I will sign dozens of executive orders. We will not waste a single moment in delivering on our promises to the people.
Fox News digital political correspondent and reporter Brooke Singman had that exclusive reporting. She joins us now. Brooke, you broke this story. 200 plus is an absolutely massive number. What are the ones that the American people are going to be talking about the moment pen hits paper?
Hey guys, it's massive, and they say it is record-breaking. This is going to be the most action-taking in American history on the first day a president is in office. So he's going to take more than 200 executive actions today after he's sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. So here is what you need to know about that. So Trump is going to declare a national border emergency. He's going to direct the U.S. military to work with the Department of Homeland Security to fully secure the southern border, and he's going to close the border to all illegal aliens. He's also going to designate cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. He's going to reinstate remain in Mexico and catch and release, and do a number of border security, immigration related executive actions there. So that's just for border security. Then he's going to shift over to energy. And I'm told he is going to sign a number of executive orders and actions related to drilling and offshore wind leases. He is going to unleash American energy. That is what the senior official who was authorized to describe all of these actions to me told me. That is the saying that, of course, we heard out on the campaign trail, drill, baby, drill, all of that. That is going to come through in the first actions today. Then he's going to end Biden's electric vehicle mandate. He's going to end the Green New Deal, and he is going to take the United States back out of the Paris Climate Accord, which he did when he took office in 2017. Biden put the U.S. back in 2021, January 2021, and now Trump's back and he's taking the U.S. out of that agreement again. Then he's going to end diversity, equity, and inclusion programs all across the federal government. That's something that he plans to do today. He's going to take action to assert presidential power over the federal bureaucracy as well. A lot of his teammates and officials involved in crafting these executive orders said that Trump plans to exert that presidential power over the federal bureaucracy as well. He's going to put a hiring freeze for federal workers, and he wants federal workers to return to the office. Beyond that, Trump is expected to establish a biological sex definition, and he's going to rename places like the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America, and that's going to happen today. Of course, TikTok, that's something he previewed himself yesterday. TikTok is back up and running after it went dark for a short period of time. He's going to extend that period before the law actually takes effect so that the company and the country and lawmakers can come up with a deal or some sort of agreement that would protect U.S. national security there. So that's just a few of the actions that we're expected to see the president-elect, at that time, the president, taking today.
He had 4 years to think about it and about 11 weeks, Brooke, to put it all together between Election Day and today. So he is certainly going to hit the ground running. Brooke Singman live for us in Washington, D.C. Brooke, thank you so much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.